Tim Ryan and Mary Jo Fernandez now here on the Philippe Chatrier court at Roland Garros in Paris, where Virginie Pichet will try to duplicate what her countryman Jerome Henel just did to Andre Agassi, score an upset in front of his hometown crowd against this young woman, Lindsay Davenport from the United States, Laguna Beach, California, seeded number 5.
Will be 28 on June 8th, just a few days away. Has a great record this year. She's been very consistent. She's ranked number 4, but got seeded 5 here because of the special seedings they gave Serena and Venus Williams.
The number 6 seeded Andre Agassi going out, and Davenport, I'm sure, fully aware of the result here just a few minutes ago, and will be highly concentrated to not be an upset victim, as was Andre Agassi. 24-9 in the French, but her best result ever here, a semifinal. She readily admits she doesn't like Roland Garros. Not the person, just the site. Pichet, ranked number 123 in the world, 21 years old, born in Paris, lives in nearby Clichy. It's her second French Open, but she's not a regular member of the ATP Tour. She has 2 titles on the junior circuit, the ITF, and in fact has been in 11 finals in addition to her 2 titles.
She is, however, 100 spots higher than she was 1 year ago. She lost to Patty Schneider, the talented Swiss player, managing only to win 1 game. Not experienced. She failed to qualify Pichet in the far court this year at Australia, and also at a Paris indoor tournament in February.
One of her 2 victories on the ITF circuit came earlier this season in Athens. But apart from that, there's not a whole lot to say about her. Like her countryman Jerome Henel, she's not a youngster. She's 21, and not a youngster in the sense that so many of these junior stars are making it onto the pro ranks as teenagers, and certainly even more so on the women's side. So she's been around on the French Federation team for a while, and this, she hopes, can be her breakthrough.
It's a big return from Davenport, her strength. But like Patrick McEnroe, Tim, I was looking for information with the French players about Pichet, and not a lot of people knew her because she's been on the ITF Challenger circuit, does not play a lot of WTA Tour events. It was a very tough task, but she is with part of the French Federation.
Wild card entry here in the French Open. Not a full house at the moment because the crowd exited after the Agassi loss to Jerome Henel, and they'll start filtering back in here to see if Virginie Pichet can pull off the same kind of an upset.
Early break point for Davenport. She sees a second serve.
Saved by Pichet on the backhand error from Davenport. Former number 1 ranked, now number 4, as Mary Jo said, but seeded 5 here in this tournament. 40 career titles for Lindsay Davenport at the age of 27, soon to be 28.
And her 40th title came on clay, the green clay at Amelia Island, where she had a huge win over Mauresmo in the final. Straight set victory. Gave her a lot of confidence heading into this year's French Open.
Avantage, Madame Davenport.
Davenport, and second break point here in the opening game. Mauresmo having an outstanding season, so that's a good win for Davenport.
Everybody talking about Mauresmo being the favorite here, having won the German Open and the Italian Open.
Madame Davenport.
And Davenport gets the break in the opening game. Play will be continuous. They'll just change ends here.
By the way, the last time a player won both the Italian and the German Open, Monica Seles and Steffi Graf, they went on to win the French Open. So it's a good omen for Amelie Mauresmo, who has struggled here in the past with the pressure. She did fine in a smaller tournament in the beginning of the year in Paris. She's performed extremely well in that event, but when she gets here, she buckles.
Davenport checks the sun on court Philippe Chatrier. Had a word with the umpire, Alison Lang, as she went by the chair. We're not sure what that was about. Alison Lang from Great Britain.
15-0.
15 love.
You mentioned, Tim, about Davenport not liking the French Open, and the biggest problem is the red clay. It slows down her big shots, particularly her first serve.
That's wide.
15.
Shots that normally would be winners for Davenport come back time and time again.
Yeah, I don't think her complaint is about the beautiful city of Paris. It's only about the red clay at Roland Garros. In recent French Open history, you see that's her best result, 1998 as a semifinalist. In 2003, got to the round of 16 a year ago. Right on the line.
Davenport had to withdraw in her round of 16 match last year to Conchita Martinez. She was suffering from an aroma in her foot. She ended up having surgery right after the U.S. Open. Didn't play the season-ending championships, but has had a fresh and new attitude this year.
Good serve right down the center line from Davenport. 30 all.
And so much of Lindsay's game revolves around her mental state of mind. If she's positive, if her head's up high, doesn't get discouraged when she makes a few unforced errors. And this year seems a much better one for her.
New coach in Adam Peterson. Friend of her husband, John Leach. John and Lindsay have been married a year now, last April. That's wide.
40-30.
And she said that affected her last year. She had been with Robert Van Hoff for 8-9 years, and all of a sudden had a new coach. So that it was a difficult transition, even though she loves Adam Peterson. It's worked out very well thus far. The injuries really affected her state of mind. And for the first time, she started talking about maybe retiring after Wimbledon. There's Adam Peterson in the red cap. Very laid back, cool, calm, and collected person. Hits the ball extremely well. Lindsay likes a coach that she can really go out there and get grooved and timing.
Short ball and easily put away by Davenport. She's a point from Tulov again. Record of 25-4 this season so far in 2004. That's her match record. 2 wins. Mary Jo mentioned on clay at Amelia Island, the other earlier in the year at Tokyo. Finals in a tune-up event at Strasbourg last week.
Égalité.
A couple of loose backhands so far early in the match by Davenport. Back to deuce.
Oh, big forehand from the French wildcard, Pichet. It's so important for Pichet to try to get on the scoreboard early in this match. She only won 1 game last year against Patty Schneider in her only main draw Grand Slam event. So to get some of those butterflies out of her stomach, this would be a huge point right here to break the Davenport serve.
Égalité.
Not that time. Back to deuce. Lindsay with a break in the opening game. An ace for Lindsay Davenport. Deep to the sideline of the service box.
Davenport relies on the first serve to get some free points.
Good return.
Good anticipation. by Pichet. She read the up the tee serve. That's Davenport's bread and butter serve.
So the French woman gets another break point opportunity here in game 2 of the match.
Davenport, like Agassi, had never heard of her opponent. She was scrambling yesterday. Her coach Peterson was looking around today to see if anybody knew how this 21-year-old played.
Hard to find a lot of videotape from the ITV circuit either to get some television looks. Back to deuce. Davenport trying to hold serve here in her first service game of the match and go up to love. Another good return on the second serve that time.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Pichet.
Third break point. That's why.
Égalité.
Another big match coming up here on Philippe Chatrier. Pair of Americans, the veteran Todd Martin and the number 2 seed here, Andy Roddick. Roddick still stinging from his first round loss at the French a year ago. You know he's looking for better things. Todd Martin just rolls along.
He keeps plugging away, Todd Martin.
Never take him for granted, even against a friend and Davis Cup teammate. He'll be battling young Andy. That's wide.
Avantage, Mademoiselle
Fourth
Pichet.
break point. Virginie Pichet from Clichy, nearby Paris. Davenport unable to find that first serve, and she's had to really work here on her first service game. And a double. And so we're all even at 1 apiece in the opening game.
Lindsay Davenport's on the top half of the draw. Fairly good draw. Safina Mayrat-Safin's sister last seed in the tournament, or advanced to the second round, where she played American qualifier Marissa Irvin. Davenport should get through this section of the draw comfortably. She's in Mauresmo's quarter. Mauresmo, of course, one of the favorites leading into this championship, but Davenport likes playing Mauresmo. It's a good matchup for her.
She beat her in the Hoffman Cup very early in the 2004 season, and then again at Amelia Island on clay. And that's wide from Davenport.
I'd say Davenport's very happy with her draw when she saw that both Venus and Serena and Jennifer Capriati were all in the bottom half. Players that have given her a lot of trouble the last couple years at the majors.
Well, of course, defending champion Anna Ardenne is in the top half, and in the 6 tournaments so far this year, Lindsay has lost 3 times to Justine. So that's another player that she'd just as soon not be out there against based on this season's record. And she's got a long way to go to get to her.
Yeah, that wouldn't be until a semifinal.
15 all.
15-30.
And a double first for Pichet.
And you have to think Pichet has to get some sort of inspiration by the upset over Agassi from her country player, Hanel. Straight sets, nonetheless.
Stunning result.
15-40.
Got to give her a little hope, and on the flip side, Davenport has to be that much more focused after seeing that upset.
2 break points for Lindsay here in game 3. She broke to win the first game. One save by Pichet. Davenport thought the serve was long, but didn't ask for the chair umpire to look at it. Something you see a lot more here, of course, with the marks being obvious on the clay. Frequently players will ask the umpire out of the chair to check the mark. Still a break point for Davenport, trying to get to 2-1.
Jeu Madame Davenport.
And
Madame
Davenport
Davenport même pas. 2-1.
is up 2-1 in our opening set. Best of 3 here, opening round action at the French Open. 2-1, Lindsay Davenport. And you know, a little known, I think, to a lot of tourists about the Tour Eiffel is that there's a very good restaurant
Merci.
in that tower, and it's not what you would think, just kind of a touristy kind of a hamburger joint that might be in a famous sightseeing site. But rather, the Jules Verne restaurant is really a very good place.
I've been there.
to
It
go
is.
eat.
It's
Isn't it great?
terrific, but every restaurant in Paris is
Right,
terrific.
yes, exactly. You can't go wrong. But you have a great view from there, that's for sure. And you are in Le Tour Eiffel. Davenport serving at 2-1. She is up a break again, having won the first game on a break, and then Pichet breaking right back. 15 all. Ace for Lindsay. Her third. Against one double fault. Frankly expected more fans to come back in on the changeover, and then I realized they had been here for the entire Agassi match without the traditional good French lunch.
That's
So
right.
My sense
little
is,
break.
my sense is that in a few minutes more, certainly in the next probably several changeovers, this crowd will be back in here at Philippe Chatrier to see the rest of this match.
40.
And the French Open underway here in Paris today at the famous Roland Garros, Stade Roland Garros. On a beautiful sunny afternoon. The wind has come up a lot in the last hour. May have well have affected the men's match here, at least the third set. And we'll be watching to see if the women are affected in this one.
Jeu Mademoiselle Pichet. 2-2.
2-all. Both women struggling on serve here in the early going. Tim Ryan with Mary Jo Fernandez. And Mary Jo, Lindsay's won the other 3 Grand Slams. Well, we've already made the point. She's just not as comfortable on the clay.
No, she's not. But I think as she's gotten older, she's become a little bit wiser on how to play on the clay. I think her game plan, her mentality is that much more focused. She knows she wants to keep the points short. She has to dictate right away in a rally. She can't afford to get into any of these long defensive shots that a lot of these clay quarters like to play, and that's one of the reasons she has success against Mauresmo, because she knows right from the start she's got to get a lot of first serves in, she's got to attack second serves, and it's just a little clearer for her mentally, and I think that's going to help her this year.
Interestingly, she's actually won 76% of her matches on clay. But of course, you know, you play a lot of players you can beat on any surface. That contributes to the stats like that. But she has shown that she can win on the surface, but just not that comfort zone she feels on the faster courts. Somebody who serves so well and returns as well as she does, and is not the fastest moving player out there, it's just obvious that clay would be her least favorite. Pichet at love 30 here. And both of these players in the early going just struggling on serve, obviously.
And Lindsay struggling with unforced errors at the moment. Not finding her timing. A lot of the players have said these courts are playing very slow. Look at that score, 6-all in the 5th for Spadia, who saved a match point in that 4th set.
From 2 sets down, you know he's a fighter. Vince Spadia, the American, got his first tournament win this year at Scottsdale, his first ever tournament win on the ATP Tour. And Correggia 6-2 over Jan-Michael Gamble to take that in 4. (30-all, 2-all first set). An unknown French woman, 21-year-old Virginie Pichet, against the number 5 seed from the United States, pride of Palos Verdes, California, now living in Laguna, Lindsay Davenport. Longest rally of the match so far in this early going first set, finished off by Lindsay Davenport's overhead. Andre Agassi left the court in a hurry after his loss to Jerome Hinel, the unknown, unseeded Frenchman who scored the stunning upset. And Andre now in the press conference, and we'll be joining that to have a quick look.
Great serve by Pichet to save a break point. Davenport still not looking extremely comfortable on the court. A part of Davenport's game she's worked on is moving forward, trying to finish some points off at the net. And that's going to be necessary for Davenport if she's going to advance deep in this tournament. And a match like this one against a wild card who does not have a lot of experience, it's a type of match where you want to start practicing those kind of things.
Serve opportunity, and you saw Davenport start to come in on the shorter second serve, but it was a double 4th against Pichet. Break point again for Davenport. Second of this game. Good deep forehand from Pichet.
And we talked about how Andre Agassi has such little preparation coming into this year's French Open, losing first round last week. Lindsay took a similar approach, just played one tournament on the red clay, but she did get to the final.
No, I think it must be critical for players who do that they've got to get at least enough matches in the tournament that they choose to play. In her case, she made it all the way to the finals. In fact, went 3 sets before losing to young Claudine Scholl in that final at Strasbourg, whereas Agassi went out first round in the tournament in Austria. Now advantage Pichet. Advantage Davenport, pardon me. A break point again for Lindsay.
Premier service.
Second serve coming. Lindsay hasn't been able to tee off on these second serves from Pichet as yet, and that's something that again you usually see her jump all over. Knocks the forehand long.
It's true, a little tentative on the return of serve from Davenport. Just getting it back in play.
Deuce again. Just wide. Another break point, Davenport. Pichet hoping for maybe a mark to indicate, and this time the chair umpire, well, she started down, Alison Lang. Agreement that it is an out ball. Davenport with another break point. well out, and a break again for Davenport. 3-2. Lindsay Davenport over the Frenchwoman Virginie Pichet, ranked number 123 in the world. Let's go to Chris Fowler. Of serve before Lindsay held to go 5-3, and then Pichet got her first hold to stay in the set to 5-4. So Lindsay serving for it here, and coming in on the short ball has a wide open court for 15-love.
It has been a very bizarre first set.
15.
A little similar to Agassi, doubting himself on the court, especially with his return. He didn't get the break serve into that third set, and Davenport, for her not to hold serve until the 8th game was a bit of a surprise, but I think she's starting to get a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more confidence.
Well, I hope she has more confidence than Andre just demonstrated even in his press conference. He is so devastated that he still sounded as confused as he played his match against young Jerome. That was quite a blow to Andre Agassi. He's such a tremendous competitor. He seemed to be really having trouble dealing with that first round upset.
And it's going to be tough for him going into Wimbledon just a few weeks away with his confidence level. He definitely needs to play some matches.
Meanwhile, in the blue, Virginie Pichet finds an open court and drills that forehand down the line. 15 all.
15.
Pichet has been able to control a lot of points in this first set against Davenport, and that's sometimes a signal for Davenport that she's not imposing herself. She's not playing on that baseline and dictating play. 80% of the time, Davenport should be controlling the points.
Lindsay's had 27 unforced errors. Pichet 21. That's just another reflection of the level of play, overall level of play on the part of both players here in the first set. Just ragged. It's the only thing you can say.
Oui, please.
And Davenport not asserting herself with her strengths, and that's serve and return. 15-30. If you've joined us along the way, who is Pichet? Well, number 121 in the world. 123 make it. A 21-year-old from Paris, now living in nearby Clichy. Good shot there from Davenport.
30.
30 all, 2 points from this first set.
The youngster Pichet with 2 victories on the junior circuit, the second circuit for the women, the ITF. Nothing on the WTA tour. 1 previous Grand Slam appearance, that was here a year ago. Lost first round to Patty Schnyder in the French Open here at Roland Garros. And a loose backhand from Davenport.
Gives Pichet a break point.
Another break point. We've had
incredible. The crowd is going to get into it. They'd like to see another upset.
Would they ever? Right here on Philippe Chatrier, where Jerome, the new star in France, he'll be called by his first name from now on. Ousted Andre Agassi. He got it. Deuce.
Davenport just struggling. She's getting 62% of her first serves in, but only winning half of those first serve points, and only 31% with the second serve.
Good first serve that time, setting up the winner. And a point away from this first set. 62% on her first serve.
Normally she's higher when she gets that first serve in, probably around 65, 70, and even her second serve usually about 45.
Another good first serve,
like
and there is the set for Lindsay Davenport.
Madame Davenport,
Took her quite a while to get it cranked up, but she has prevailed in set number 1, best of 3, here at Philippe Chatrier.